Yes, people, welcome back to the 1894 for a brand new transfer video. Quite a few players to talk about, few ins, few outs. Let's get right into it. Okay, so let's start off with the incomings. We've got two players we want to talk about. The first being probably the biggest name in this video and the most important one of this video. It is our club captain, Fernandinho, has re-signed with City for another year, bringing him up to 2022. I think that is an absolutely fantastic signing. He is, I think, 36 years old now. He looked fantastic last season. I think everyone will agree there's still life in the old dog yet, and also having him as a presence, his personality around the dressing room is probably invaluable in its own right. Rebel, what do you make of that?
Yeah, me and Joe were having a discussion about it yesterday on stream. We talked about how he could probably still go for another 3 years. So, like, even if they were to come out with a 2-year contract, I think everyone would have still been buzzing. It's crucial to the team. I think Rodri can still learn a lot from him. We have people coming through like Romeo Lavia. He can learn a lot from him. I think it's a perfect deal.
The thing is, I do put Fernandinho in the same kind of leadership bracket as Vincent Kompany in terms of presence around the dressing room and you know, helping young players come through, because we do have quite a few young players now, and hopefully we'll get some new signings in, and having someone like Fernandinho who knows the club so well, who's been there so long, will only help them bed in. But it's not like Kompany towards the end of his City career where it's kind of like he didn't play much football, but having just his presence was great. Fernandinho is still a fantastic player, and he contributed so heavily last season to all our success. And many would say he did the CDM role, the defensive midfielder role, better than Rodri last season. Well, definitely in the big games, I feel Fernandinho turned up slightly better than Rodri. I think he breaks up attacks better, and he probably understands the way Pep wants to play a bit better. But that will come for Rodri. You know, Rodri's still got time. He's still a young man, and we're looking forward to seeing how he grows. And having Fernandinho there can only help Rodri grow as well. So I think it's a benefit for absolutely everyone involved in Manchester City. So congratulations, Fernandinho. We're absolutely buzzing. I think it's going to be another really enjoyable year seeing him captain the club. Now, moving on to our next incoming is one we've done quite a few videos on now, and the press are very all over it because it's a high profile, and that is Jack Grealish. Now, today we're not saying it's a done deal. Today we're not saying it's close. It seems Aston Villa are trying to tie him down to another contract, which is strange considering he only signed a new contract back in October, but they must be fearful that he's going to leave due to lucrative offers from somewhere else or the promise of Champions League football, which is what we can give him. Anyway, here we go. From Sam Wallace at The Telegraph, he says, Aston Villa are very hopeful that Jack Grealish will sign a new contract at the club this summer. Now, Sports Witness also said Man City target Jack Grealish has not made a decision yet on whether to sign a new contract at Aston Villa. Anything is possible with regards to the midfielder's future. I think Aston Villa, like I said a second ago, are getting a bit nervous, a little bit shaky that they might lose their best man, because obviously he's a big commercial aspect. He's also a great player, but I think they also realise that he's probably slightly above their level. You know, he's an England international now, and he probably aspires to win trophies. He's 25. He's probably thinking, if I could get off now and go to a club like City or somewhere where I'm guaranteed or close to guaranteed trophies, I could have a lot of years of silverware. What do you make of these attempts reportedly from Aston Villa to try and tie down Grealish to a contract he's already on for another 5 years anyway?
It makes sense, man, from a Villa standpoint, because Villa don't need to sell him. You know what I mean? I think I saw this on Twitter. They have the third richest owners in the Premier League. They don't need to sell him to bring in money to make signings, because they will make signings. It shouldn't feel pressure to sell him, but if it's a statement of intent that they can get him on another contract, he's going nowhere. So even the press talk will do a lot, like in combating City. But if City make the offer and he wants to leave, I don't see what'll stop him. Other than like if he won't force his way out, we know he won't force his way out. But if City make a big enough offer and match what Villa want, he'll go.
We have seen unofficial reports and some unofficial or unreliable, whatever you want to call them, for either side, sources saying that it's actually a done deal. A 5-year contract has been signed, and it's only going to be announced after the Euros. 88 million is the specific fee I've seen thrown around a couple of times in the last 24 hours. Obviously, last week we saw 100 million. Both are breaking Man City's transfer record. I don't think 88 million breaks the British transfer record. I think Pogba's slightly more than that. 1 million off. We don't want to break that barrier, but if we were to pay 100 million, we're breaking the barrier. But listen, it's one to follow. Obviously, like I said, Villa are getting a bit nervous. They might lose their best man, but I think if he is the type of player we think he is, he's got ambitions to win trophies. He wants to win Premier Leagues, and he wants to start playing Champions League. He's never done that before, and at the age of 25, he probably feels he's given what he can to Villa over a good long period of time, and it's time for him to take the next step in his journey. So stay tuned for that one. Okay, so moving on to the outgoings, we once again have two players we want to talk about, two strikers in fact, which is obviously a big position that's been on the talking point for City fans and City journalists, etc. in the last few weeks with Sergio Aguero leaving. So the first one is Liam Delap, the young up-and-coming prospect. I think he's a top scorer in Premier League too. He was the main man, essentially, him and Cole Palmer in the team for the EDS winning their Premier League this season. And it's looking like Millwall are interested in him. According to Ryan Taylor at The Express Sport, sorry if I butchered that, Millwall are interested in a loan deal for Man City striker Liam Delap. Okay, I think there's two ways to look at this, right? Loan deals we usually look at for young players as a really good thing. We say it's a great chance for them to go get first team experience. They come back more matured players, you know, some adult football under their belts, and they're possibly ready to go into the first team. I mean, you look at Taylor Howard-Bellis, for example, just done a good season with Blackburn, earned his way into Vince and Company's team in Anderlecht. He'll hopefully have a good season there and then maybe come back to City and do well. But for Delap, I'm kind of thinking at the point of Phil Foden. Phil Foden was in that position Delap is in right now 2 or 3 years ago, where they were saying maybe he should go on loan to somewhere like Millwall or Blackburn in the Championship and play every week and mature and flourish. But Pep Guardiola said no, we're going to hold on to him and let him learn from the best players we have here, and that worked out to be fantastic for Foden. So before I give you my take and what I think is the best option for him, stay or go on the loan deal, what do you think?
I don't have an opinion really. I'm kind of like, if Pep wants him to go on loan because feels like he's gone further him, let him do that. If Pep thinks he should stay, let him do that. He's handled Foden so well. He seems to be handling Doyle and Palmer really well. I don't see why we wouldn't let him handle Delap the way he sees fit. That's my opinion on it. So I don't mind whatever happens, just once Pep is happy with it.
I have no objection to Liam Delap going on loan, and I think the Championship, it could probably do really well for him. You know, it's a physical league. He's a big guy. It'll help him learn to play against big, strong centre halves, and it'll only help him get better in his career. But my other take on it is, with our links to Harry Kane, there's a part of me thinks that if Harry Kane does sign for City, what a mentor alone that would be for Liam Delap. If Liam Delap, who Pep has said is going to spend the whole of next season, if he doesn't go on loan obviously, training with the first team day in, day out, week in, week out, what a mentor that would be for Delap, to see the best striker in England train alongside him every single day, see what he does, see his mannerisms, see what he does off the pitch, on the pitch. It could really help Delap the same way training with De Bruyne and David Silva has helped Phil Foden. But I think it's an interesting one that we don't have too many updates on it. It just seems Millwall are interested, and I think there's pros and cons to him leaving and pros and cons to him staying. Anyway, moving on to our other striker, someone who we have been big critics of all season for inconsistency. Even though he has good moments, we love him dearly for what he's given to the club. But I'm just not his biggest fan. I know some City fans out there absolutely love Gabriel Jesus, but he's just not it for me. He's just not it for me. Anyway, Gazzetta and Sport Witness are saying here, Gabriel Jesus is Maxi Allegri's first choice at Juventus. The Man City striker doesn't fit in Pep Guardiola's plans, and he would have no problem sacrificing him for Harry Kane. The Brazilian has given his availability to join Juventus, so it sounds a bit like there is something starting to brew there in the Jesus to Juventus deal. What do you make of that, Dara?
I think the fact that this report is saying that that he'd happily will to sacrifice him, I think that points to being bullshit straight away. Jesus for the last 3-4 years now has been Pep's boy. I don't think he's gonna want to sell him. I definitely do think he's part of his plans, whether it be backup striker, starting winger, backup winger, whatever the way you look at it. But I think he'll stay. I think the story is gonna end up being a lot of horse, but there have been links to it for the last few years. You know, like Allegri when he was at Juventus was looking at Jesus, but that was when Jesus' stock was higher than it was now when he was younger and actually scoring goals. You know.
Yeah, I know what you mean by him being Pep's boy, and you're absolutely right. He was one of Pep's favourites for the guts of 4 years now. But there is that part of Pep where I kind of think maybe he's looking at Jesus like, you were my boy for 3 or 4 years, and we never got that Champions League. Do you know what I mean? I really want that Champions League, and he might be thinking, if we could sell Gabriel Jesus for a decent fee and put that cash into Harry Kane, he is the catalyst. He's what we're missing for that Champions League. Because I think at this stage, yes, we all love the Premier League so much, and we want to win that every single year. It's your bread and butter, the Premier League. But knowing Pep Guardiola and the way he is as a manager and as a person, I just know as the years are gone by, where we're not winning the Champions League, he's getting more and more desperate, and he may start making changes that he wouldn't have done, say, last summer or the summer before. One of them might be sacrifice Gabriel Jesus, even if he still does love him as a player. So I think that's an interesting one as well. I think that's just starting off. If there is any life in it, it's just starting off, and we might find out more about it in the next week or two. I'm sure we will, as the Grealish talks and the Kane talks go on. We will hear more about Gabriel Jesus and the likes of Bernardo as well, as his Euros has just ended with Portugal. I'm sure his future will be decided in the next week or two, because he doesn't want to be waiting around either. So We just thought we'd come on, give you this transfer update. I think they're all pretty interesting ones. The best one obviously being Fernandinho. What an exciting extension that is. Great to have him at the club. And then there's obviously Jack Grealish is obviously a big one going on. And then you have Delap and Jesus, who are two strikers. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Do subscribe if you're new as well. And share it around. Show your friends. Show some other City fans. We'd love to get the community growing a bit more. And the link to our Discord as well is down below in the description if you want to join that. Free to join. Loads of City fans, loads of football fans, talking all day. We'll see you very soon.